YouTubers, and once again welcome to another Doctor Who DVD review. In this review I shall be taking a look at the K-9 Tales box set, which contains two DVD releases. We have The Invisible Enemy and the one-off spin-off K-9 and Company. And as ever, first off we're going to take a look at the cover art of this box set. First off, there's not really much going on the cover of this box set. Again, we've got the TARDIS roundels, which is evident on most of the box sets that have been released for the classic series DVDs. And at the centre we've just got K-9 there with some electricity coming out from the background, and it looks like he's just coming out of space or something. I don't know. It just says at the bottom here, K-9 Tales, as well as obviously the Doctor Who logo there. We have The Invisible Enemy, K-9 Company, and the little description at the bottom says, the Doctor's first ever meeting with K-9, plus the Robot Dog's very own spin-off special. Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to talking about that in this review. This is a 2-disc set, so it's 1 disc for each episode in this, each story. This is a classification of a 12 for whatever reason. I believe that's because of The Invisible Enemy. I don't know why it's a 12, because I don't think it's that scary. That is the spine, so nothing really much to talk about there, and the other side is the same. Now let's take a look at the DVDs which came inside this. First off, the Doctor Who story that comes in this is The Invisible Enemy, and we're going to take a look at the cover of this DVD. For some reason the BBC DVD logo on this is black. I don't know exactly why, but it works, I guess. It's not really out of place, so I'm not really that fussed about it. The main cover art is quite interesting. We've got 4th Doctor and Leela along with K-9 at the centre there. We've got the little spaceship, the hospital ship, whatever you want to call it, which is one of the main settings of this particular story. You've got this thing, and then you've just got all this other stuff, and like asteroids and all that. It's quite an interesting cover, and you've got like loads of lightning coming out like here, there and everywhere. So yeah, pretty interesting and very colourful cover, very ambitious to say the least, and like I said earlier, this is a 12, but the ambitious nature of the cover it goes very well with the sleeve, and it stands out on the shelf, which I suppose is acceptable. This story was written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin, who have written other classics such as The Three Doctors, to name a few. While answering a mayday from a refuelling station on Saturn's largest moon, the TARDIS passes through a mysterious cloud. Alarmed, Leela senses a malevolent presence. The danger turns out to be an intelligent space virus, and the Doctor is soon infected and fighting for control of his mind. With the Time Lord encapsulated, Leela's only hope lies on a nearby medical satellite. There, help comes in an unlikely coupling of eccentric scientist Professor Marius and his dog-shaped computer, K-9. But can they save the Doctor before he is utterly consumed by the deadly enemy within? Commentary is by Louise, Jameson. John Leeson, of course, makes the character's debut of K-9 as the voice. Bob Baker, who is a writer. Matt Irvine, visual effects designer. Dreams and Fantasy, the cast and crew recall the making of the story and even take the original K-9 for walkies, which is quite odd, but there you go. Studio sweeping is a rare opportunity to go behind the scenes on the recording of this story, courtesy of time-coded videotape recording. Visual effect Irvine meets up with his old colleague Ian Scones and Bray Studios to talk about the visual effects for The Invisible Enemy. Blue Peter, K-9 meets John Noakes and Shep. Optional CGI effects, which is always a good thing, because some of the effects on this story, admittedly, are very shit. Trailers and continuities, BBC One Emperor from 1977. We've got an Easter egg, and all the rest just usual stuff that you can find on most classic Doctor Who DVDs. Original broadcast dates for this were between 1st and 22nd of October 1977. Produced by Graham Williams, directed by Derek Goodwin. The cover for this was by Clayton Hickman, and runtime is 93 minutes. It's a 4-parter, this one. 4 25-minute episodes, roughly. And there is the inside. And overall, I'll give my brief thoughts on this. Pretty average, to be honest. A pretty average story. Pretty average DVD release. The special features are okay. I would have liked like a history of K-9, but there we go. What I mean by that is like a whole TV history of the character right from the very beginning in this story that goes all the way to his final regular appearance in Warrior's Gate, and maybe a brief mention of his comeback in the Revive series, and of course his go at a spin-off which ultimately failed. It's alright though. It's an alright story though. Not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, but as I said, this release comes with another DVD, and now I'll have to unfortunately take a look at this. K-9 and Company, a girl's best friend.
Oh my God! No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Jesus Christ. This is absolutely horrible. But we'll talk more about that towards the end of this. For now, let's just take a look at the art for this. And this is very interesting because we have a double-sided sleeve for this release. First off, we're going to take a look at this side, which it doesn't actually come like this. It comes like the other side. If you actually have bought this, then you'll probably know what I'm on about. It has the K-9 and Company logo, which is alright, I guess. The K-9 logo as well replaces all the TARDIS roundels. You have a girl's best friend. The main action on this cover, you've got Elisabeth Sladen coming back as Sarah Jane Smith. Loved her to bits. Rest in peace, Liz Sladen. We have K-9 right here shooting out a laser. Oh, isn't that marvellous? Then you've got whatever the hell these people are supposed to be. You've got this crappy 70s / 1970s car, seeing as this was filmed in 1980. And then we got this kid as well. It's not bad, I guess, and you just got like the village in the background and all that explosions and all that shit going on. We've got a nice, lovely picture though of Elisabeth Sladen, which replaces Doctor. Usually have a Doctor there, but for this one occasion we got a nice photo of Elisabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith. This is a PG and it just says starring Elisabeth Sladen. The sleeve though, there's nothing much here, it's just plain black, so kind of lazy. And this was written by Terence Dudley. Again, it's optional to have this in the style of a classic DVD. I chose to because I wanted it to be uniform with the rest of the collection. Sarah Jane Smith is looking forward to spending a quiet Christmas with her Aunt Lavinia in the sleepy village of Morton Harewood. When she arrives, she finds her aunt is missing, and a surprise gift from an old friend is waiting to be opened. Sarah, K-9 and her aunt Ward, Brendan are caught up in the affairs of a mysterious cult who practice the black arts and are preparing for a human sacrifice. Okay then. Commentary by Elisabeth Sladen, John Leeson, Linda Polan and Eric Saywood. The K-9 Files cast and crew look back at the making of K-9 and Company, plus K-9's subsequent life in books and comic strips is examined. K-9 A Dog's Tale. The K-9 himself answers a selection of questions and all about his life, and yeah, I'm not really enthusiastic. You might tell by my voice, because to be honest, these special features, they didn't do that much for me. We have Pebble Mill at 1, K-9's appearance on the 1981 Christmas show, trails and continuities, selection of continuities and announcements, blah blah blah. Adventures of K-9, Adobe PDF versions of 4 K-9 books for younger children. I've not looked at that because, for one reason, I couldn't be arsed, and the other reason, I absolutely hate Adobe. The K-9 Annual 1983, again, DVD-ROM, and quite unusual this. It's quite interesting in a way, because I think they expected this spin-off to take off, but obviously it crashed and burned, which is understandable because it is terrible. The story was originally broadcast on BBC One on the 28th of December 1981, so it was just before Peter Davison made his debut as the Fifth Doctor in Castrovalva, just like over a week later or something like that. It was in January 1982, I know that. Produced by John Nathan Turner, directed by John Black, and the runtime for this is 50 minutes, that's it. And inside, you got this, which is all different, and the disc just has K-9 there. But here is the alternative cover, and it looks rather different. You've got the same art and everything like that, but they made it different for this. At the bottom now, it says starring Elisabeth Sladen and John Leeson, as opposed to just saying Elisabeth Sladen. On the side, again, doesn't match any of the classic DVDs now. It just has the K-9 and Company logo once again, but we've also got like a little computer thing of K-9 there, and the back, you've got the same images from before, but it's just laid out in a different way. It's just all laid down differently, really, but it's nice that you've got a choice, but I prefer the other way because, it, like I said, it's uniform. Overall, K-9 and Company, A Girl's Best Friend, is absolutely awful. I do not recommend that you watch this, because I watched it, and after I watched the whole thing, I find myself asking, what the hell just happened? It's confusing. I do not know what this was all about. It was just a mess, to be honest, and I honestly would steer clear of it if you haven't seen this already. I just wouldn't watch it. Unfortunately, I have, and yeah, I heard it was bad. Now that I've watched it, yeah, I can see what everyone means. This is terrible. Stay away from this. It's just, oh, it's awful. And the DVD release itself, there's nothing much to write home about. And to be honest, K-9 isn't a character that I've ever been fussed about. K-9 Tales was one of the last DVD releases that I ever bought. It's only recently that I actually got this, and I thought that I'd watch them and review them. It's a very mixed bag. I think that the best thing about this is the invisible enemy, even though the invisible enemy isn't exactly perfect. It's an average Doctor Who story at best, but K-9 and Company, it's just an unneeded extra in this. I would have been perfectly happy if we just got the invisible enemy on its own, but for completist's sake, I got this box set. And to be honest, it doesn't really do the character justice whether you love him or hate him. Like I said, I'm not really that bothered about K-9, but I thought that they could have done maybe a better job in terms of the special features for this, because after all, it is K-9, and I suppose back in the day he would have been a very popular character, especially with the younger audiences. So yeah, mixed bag DVD release. It's up to you whether you want to get it. I myself would steer clear of this. If you want to complete your collection, I'd probably make this one of your last purchases, because that's what I did, and I don't regret that. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned next time. Bye for now.